What if everything you were taught about money is wrong? Think about it. A few decades ago, owing money was often seen as something unusual. Today, it feels almost expected. People borrow money for homes, cars, education, phones, furniture, vacations, and sometimes even groceries. In many places, having debt is no longer the exception. It is the norm. And that raises an important question. If debt can create stress, limit freedom, and keep people awake at night, why does it feel so normal now? Why do so many intelligent and hard-working people accept it as just a regular part of life? The answer is not simply that people are bad with money. The story is much bigger than that. And understanding it could change the way you think about your own financial choices. Let's start with why this matters. Even if your debt is small, it affects more than your bank account. It affects your decisions. Maybe you stay in a job you dislike because you need the paycheck. Maybe you delay starting a business because the risk feels too high. Maybe you feel pressure every month before bills arrive. Debt can quietly shape your life. At the same time, debt is everywhere around us. Advertisements tell us we deserve things now, not later. Online stores offer payment plans with just a few clicks. Credit cards arrive in the mail. Loans are advertised on social media. When something surrounds us every day, we begin to see it as normal. But normal and healthy are not always the same thing. The first insight is this: debt became normal because waiting became unpopular. We live in a culture of speed. We stream movies instantly. We order food with an app. We expect quick results in almost every area of life. Money has followed the same pattern. Imagine someone wants a new laptop. Years ago, they might have saved money for several months before buying it. Today, many stores offer monthly payments. The laptop can be in their hands tomorrow. That feels convenient. And sometimes it is. But something important changes when waiting disappears. Saving requires patience. Borrowing removes the need for patience. Over time, people become used to getting things immediately. A simple example is a young professional who wants a better apartment. Instead of waiting and saving for a larger deposit, they take on more debt because it feels like the fastest path forward. The future cost becomes less visible than the immediate reward. The human brain loves immediate rewards. That is not a personal weakness. It is simply how many of us are wired. Companies understand this very well. The second insight is that debt became normal because it became invisible. Years ago, handing over cash created a very clear feeling. You could see the money leaving your wallet. The transaction felt real. Today, many purchases happen with a tap, a click, or an automatic payment. The experience is smooth. Almost too smooth. Let's imagine someone buys a new phone. The price is $1,000. That sounds expensive. But what if the advertisement says, only $30 per month? Suddenly the number feels much smaller. The total cost has not changed. But the way it is presented changes how people feel about it. This happens everywhere. Subscription services. Car payments. Buy now pay later programs. Monthly memberships. A friend once told me that he was shocked when he finally listed all his monthly payments on one piece of paper. Individually, each payment seemed manageable. Together, they represented a large part of his income. That is the challenge. Debt often hides inside small monthly numbers. When the full picture becomes harder to see, borrowing feels easier. The third insight is that debt became normal because it is often connected to hope. This is where the conversation becomes more complicated. Not all debt comes from careless spending. Many people borrow money because they are trying to build a better future. A student may take a loan for education. A family may borrow money to buy a home. An entrepreneur may take a business loan to launch a company. These decisions are often driven by optimism. People believe that tomorrow will be better than today. And sometimes they are right. Imagine a woman who borrows money to complete a professional training program. 2 years later, she earns a much higher salary. In that case, the debt helped create opportunity. But hope can also become dangerous when it turns into overconfidence. People sometimes assume future income will solve every problem. They think, I'll earn more next year, or things will work out somehow. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. The future is uncertain. Jobs change. Economies change. Unexpected expenses appear. When borrowing is based entirely on a perfect future scenario, small problems can quickly become big ones. So what can you do with all of this? Here is one simple practice. Before taking on any new debt, pause and ask yourself one question. Am I buying time, or am I buying a feeling? Buying time can make sense. A loan for education, a business investment, or something that genuinely improves your long-term situation may create value. Buying a feeling is different. Sometimes we borrow money because we want excitement, status, comfort, or relief from stress. The challenge is that feelings are temporary. Payments often last much longer. You do not need to judge yourself. Just be honest. If you can separate the practical reason from the emotional reason, you will make clearer decisions. And clarity is powerful. The goal is not to fear debt. The goal is to understand it. Debt feels normal now because our culture rewards speed, hides costs, and connects borrowing with hope. But you do not have to accept every financial habit that society presents as normal. You can slow down. You can ask better questions. You can make decisions that fit your values rather than someone else's expectations. The most valuable form of wealth is not a number in a bank account. It is having the freedom to choose your direction. And every thoughtful financial decision, no matter how small, moves you a little closer to that freedom. Until next time, remember, just because something is common doesn't mean it deserves to go unquestioned. Sometimes the smartest move is simply to stop, think, and choose with intention.